Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Haftarah Drop. I'm Rabbi Michael Shields, Associate Rabbi here at Temple Sinai. The Haftarah this week is from 1 Kings chapter 5, starting with verse 26. And it's important that we look at, just briefly, at the Torah portion, which is Trumah. And Trumah is a blueprint of Torah. There's measurements: gold, cedar, acacia wood. And the Haftarah takes us from that portable Mishkan in the wilderness to Solomon's permanent temple in Jerusalem. We have movement from wandering to rootedness. But here's the question that's really beneath the architecture. Does building something sacred guarantee we will live sacredly? The Haftarah opens with stability. Adonai gave Solomon wisdom, and there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, it says in 1 Kings chapter 5, verse 26. Before the temple rises, there is shalom, peace. Sacred structures require peaceful, stable foundations. Solomon, whose very name comes from shalom, is the builder. The rabbis note that David, though righteous, could not build the temple because he was a warrior. Sacred space demands a different energy. You cannot construct holiness on the foundation of constant conflict. And yet, peace doesn't mean naivete. One of the most striking verses from 1 Kings in chapter 6, verse 7 says the following: "The house was built of stone, finished at the quarry. No hammer or axe or iron tool was heard in the house while it was being built." So there was no clanging metal, no violent shaping. The Midrash teaches that iron used for weapons cannot fashion the altar because iron shortens life and the altar represents life. It's an important lesson. You cannot build peace with instruments of destruction. That's a lesson for all of us, for every generation. We are commanded to recognize evil, to name it, to resist it, to stand against it. Judaism never asks us to ignore injustice or turn away from harm. But even when confronting evil, we must not become shaped by its tools. And then comes the heart of the Haftarah. It says in chapter 6, verses 12 and 13, "If you walk in my statutes, then I will dwell among the children of Israel and not forsake my people." Notice the temple is already magnificent. Cedar beams, gold overlay, divine craftsmanship. And God says it's not about the building. Architecture doesn't guarantee presence, capital P. The Mishkan in Trumah was built from voluntary gifts, Trumah, offerings from the heart. And God says in Exodus, "Let them make me a sanctuary, and I will dwell among them." Not in it, among them. God doesn't live in walls. God lives in behavior. God lives in justice. God lives in integrity. God lives in compassion. Without these, even the most beautiful temple, even the most beautiful synagogue becomes hollow. Now enter the month of Adar, which we've just begun. The Talmud teaches when Adar enters, joy increases. Ta'anit 29a. But here's what's powerful. Adar contains Purim, the story of Haman, the story of real existential threat, the story where evil is not imaginary, it's plotted. Judaism doesn't deny darkness. We name it, we confront it, we call it out. Clarity about evil, commitment to joy. That's the Jewish rhythm. In the temple story, we are warned, walk in my ways or the structure means nothing. In Purim, we are reminded, even when power seems absolute, it can turn in a moment. Joy in Adar is not naive happiness. It is defiant resilience. The temple was built in silence, no iron heard inside, but our tradition does not remain silent in spirit. We sing in Adar, we laugh, we give gifts to one another, we feed the poor. Why? Because joy is also a construction project. Joy is a spiritual discipline. The temple requires careful planning and peaceful foundations. A healthy Jewish soul requires moral clarity and emotional expansiveness. If we focus only on evil, we grow brittle. If we ignore evil, we grow blind. Adar teaches balance. The Torah portion Truma asks us to build. The book of Kings asks us to behave. And the month of Adar asks us to rejoice. So I say to you, build beautifully, live righteously, rejoice stubbornly, call out evil when you see it, refuse to use its tools, and never surrender our joy. Because when justice steadies the foundation, when generosity shapes the walls, and when joy fills the rooms, then God does not simply visit the house. God dwells among his people. Chodesh Tov, Shabbat Shalom.